Hello! In today's Archaeoscoop, my top three headlines are as follows. Headlines number 1 and 2 actually have something of a martial theme, as they're actually to do with the things that people wear when they go into combat, into war. Headline number 1 comes from the Mausoleum of the first Qin Emperor, obviously in China. The Lintou district in the Shanxi province has long been famous as the area where this emperor's tomb is located, and more specifically famous because of the terracotta warriors which have been and are continuing to be unearthed on the site. This 13,000 metre square, it is estimated, site, it seems is far from done in relinquishing remarkable artefacts, with a report that apparently some burnished and shaped stone armour has been uncovered. This is actually armour to be worn. This isn't models or terracotta models of soldiers. This is actually human armour made out of stone and linked with bronze wires. Now, the reason why this is interesting, if it is true, and I'll come back to that in a moment, is that historical records hint that armour was made out of feathers and metal in the Qin dynasty, as stone would apparently have been too cumbersome. But this is evidence of actual armour from the period dating to around 220 BC or thereabouts. Now, what's the reason why I say if this turns out to be true is that this story, the link to which you can find below, seems to be based on some CCTV footage, which has probably been released by people linked with the excavation, but nonetheless it doesn't quite have the taste of a fully official story. But we'll see how this one develops. But if it is true, it's a remarkable bit of archaeology, actual stone armour from the Qin dynasty, and how it was put together, engineered, burnished, and shaped to fit a human being. Incredible. So that's headline number 1. Headline number 2 actually comes courtesy of the Springfield Science Museum, where they were putting together an exhibition exploring, and the title was People of the Northwest Coast. Now, I've long been fascinated by the tribal groups, especially up until the 19th century, who lived on, and do to a certain extent still live, on the northwest coast of the US and up into Alaska. And they were trying to put together an exhibition about these groups, these tribal groups. And what they found in pulling out up to 200,000 artifacts to select things to go into the exhibition was what was labelled a Aleutian hat. Now the doctor in charge of putting together this exhibition wasn't entirely sure about this description, and sent an image and description to a curator of collections at the Alaska State Museum, who said, and his quote is, "This is a Tlingit warrior helmet. Absolutely no question about it." He went on to say that it's very rare. There are less than 100 Tlingit war helmets in existence that we know of. I've been studying them for over 20 years and I'm sure I've seen most of them. So actually what they've ended up finding, just because they're putting together an exhibition on roughly that part of the world, is a really good example of a warrior's helmet. Now, over time, this sort of armour became more ceremonial, especially in the 19th century, because Westerners especially were bringing in more guns, weapons which simply made wooden armour or wooden helmets pointless. But they moved into like a ceremonial kind of usage, and it seems that this actually dates from that sort of period where it was shifting into that making to have the form of the helmet to show off with that thing, possibly as part of conspicuous consumption, rather than actually using it in combat. But nonetheless, a really interesting bit of identification there, all because someone said, not sure about that description. So again, a bit of interesting work there. That's headline number 2. Headline number 3, unfortunately, at this festive time of year, here in Britain anyway, is with regards to the continuing plight of archaeology in Egypt. Ever since the most recent, I suppose, revolution, as it were, and shift in the political spectrum there, things have just been getting worse and worse for sites, for museums, for artifacts, and for the people who look after these things in Egypt. Looting is rife. organised gangs going and either looting or actually in the process of looting destroying mummies, for example, exhibitions, smaller artefacts which are in the way of the ones which are on their shopping list, as it were. It just continues to be a massive problem. So it's basically this article breaks down as a series of sort of, I suppose, reports from different elements of different parts of the country, different types of site, and it's well worth a read just to keep up to date with that. It continues to be a real shame, actually, for the world actually, for the world at large, not just the world of archaeology. Everybody knows about Egypt's ancient history, and everyone prizes it, but it seems at the moment political turmoil is really being taken advantage of to loot and destroy that part of the world's history, and in that sense a really important part of humanity's history. So just thought I'd take some time to highlight that with headline number 3. So there you go. Those news stories, along with other news stories from the past couple of days, as ever, can be found below in the video information. Please do check them out, take your time, do have a read. And actually, one more story that I'd like to highlight is some bamboo texts from China, which actually highlight elements of medical history. Really interesting, again, really interesting document archaeology in that sense. The artifacts themselves are documents, and it has the potential to be fascinating in terms of the study and development of medicine in China. So please do check that one out as well. Anyway, as ever, until next time, please do take care. Oh, yeah, so before I go, it's worthwhile saying, this week's been very busy. I've actually put out, I think, 7 videos this week in 5 days, or rather Archaeoscoop has. And unfortunately, because of work commitments, I haven't quite had time to finish off the In Focus video, which actually is looking at oracle bones from China. But I hope to be able to finish that, hopefully over the weekend, and get it published to you as an early Christmas present, just before Christmas Eve. So here's hoping that works out. Nonetheless, as I say, do enjoy the news stories, do take care, and do have a wonderful weekend. Until next time, as ever, bye-bye.